my top 10 for Division 1 FBS football. Georgia at 1, Ohio State at 2. You get either one of those two are interchangeable to me. Michigan 3, Tennessee up to number 4 with a win over Alabama. Clemson at 5 because they kind of struggled with Florida State yesterday. Alabama down to number 6. Then there's Ole Miss, Oregon, UCLA, TCU. I think TCU is a top 10 team now, but they need to prove it to me. And teams on the outside looking in are like Wake Forest, Syracuse, Kansas State, Utah, USC. I never had USC in the top 10 to begin with, so not in a while. I just wanted to prove it. They couldn't prove me because that was a quality opponent in Utah. And I only put USC behind Utah because of head-to-head matters. So that's how I would base it off of. Now, there's a few notable things. Tennessee got fined $100,000 for storming the field. NC State's quarterback Devin Leary out for the season. That's another notable. So, just to let you know on that, because that's important. Because going forward, it changes the outcomes for the games here. Now, the AP poll and the coaches poll have the following. I'm going to start with the coaches poll, then go to AP poll. Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, Tennessee 4, Clemson 5, Alabama 6, Ole Miss 7, TCU 8, Oregon 9, UCLA 10, Oklahoma State number 11, USC 12, Wake Forest 13, Syracuse 14, Utah 15, Penn State 16, Kansas State 17, Kentucky 18, Cincinnati 19, Illinois 20, 21, Texas 22, North Carolina, NC State 23, Mississippi State 24, Tulane 25. Now the AP poll is nearly the same, except some spots are different. So while others are the same. Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Tennessee 3, Michigan 4, Clemson 5, Alabama 6, Ole Miss 7, TCU 8, UCLA 9, Oregon 10, Oklahoma State's 11, USC's 12, Wake Forest 13, Syracuse 14, Utah 15, Penn State 16, Kansas State 17, 18 is Illinois, Kentucky's number 19, Texas 20, Cincinnati 21, North Carolina 22, NC State 23, Mississippi State 24, and Tulane number 25. So it's nearly the same. And I'm going to go, and College Game Day is headed to the UCLA versus Oregon game, which is a huge game because that is a huge game in the conference standings here. And it's a top 10 matchup at 2:30 p.m. Central Time. And who's hosting the game? Okay, it's at Oregon. Oregon's hosting the game, so this is a tough game for me to pick here if I had to choose one team. UCLA owns the edge defensively slightly by less than 30 yards. I mean, the difference is Oregon's pass defense is not that great. 275.3 passing yards per game allowed, while UCLA is 245.8. Either way, it's not good or not good. UCLA does average 294.2 passing yards per game, while Oregon 270.8. Both teams average over 200 yards rushing easily. 211.5 for UCLA. Oregon is 241.7. But points per game is UCLA 41.5, Oregon 22. But defensively, Oregon's 22.7, while UCLA average gives up that much, while Oregon's 28.8. If I had to pick a game, pick a team here, I know Oregon is favored by 6, and the over-under is 70.5. I don't know if the over or under will hit, but I know it may sound crazy. Oregon, you're going down. Actually, never mind. I'm going to go with Oregon in this game. because it's a slight home field advantage. It's just so close. Ohio State versus Iowa. Iowa's not that great. Ohio State's going to kill them. Big time. Usually, Tennessee versus UT Martin. Usually, when there's a team that has a top 5 win or something, the next game is a letdown potential and could be a loss. I don't see that happening for Tennessee. Quite frankly, I don't. Clemson versus Syracuse. Both teams are undefeated. So I really think Clemson is going to win this game here. But I think it might be closer. Syracuse has a good defense. And Clemson did give up a bunch of yards last game. Keep that in mind, too. But I will say the run defense for Clemson is good. It's just the passing yards is just a major area of concern for me. For Clemson in the game here. But I mean, if Syracuse is not known, but they're multi-dimensional. I mean, 244.8 passing yards per game with 188.5 rushing yards per game. That's balanced. Cincinnati versus SMU. Cincinnati's only favored by 3 in this game. SMU is 3-3, but their defense is bad. I'm taking Cincinnati. But would it shock me if SMU won? No. Ole Miss at LSU. That is a tough place to play. But I will say, this is a trap game right here. Both teams are pretty even, but Ole Miss has a better offense. But LSU has a slightly better defense. So, I think Ole Miss survives the trap, but it's going to be by a field goal. Touchdown or less for sure. Okay, Texas at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's coming off of a loss to TCU in double overtime. This is a prime spot for Oklahoma State to have a letdown game. And let one game beat you twice here. And I could really totally see it. Because you got to face it. Oklahoma State's pass defense, they're not that great. 301 passing yards per game allowed. Quinn Ewers is going to eat them up for lunch. Well, but Oklahoma State's offense is really good, though. This is a tough game for me to pick, and Texas is favored by 3.5 here. Either way, somebody's going to have to pick up their second conference loss. I think that team's going to be Texas. It's the road environment that I'm worried. That's the reason why. And Oklahoma State offense is better, but this will go really high in the game. Like both teams will be in the 30s, maybe in 40s here. Wake Forest versus Boston College. Wake Forest. Tulane versus Memphis. Tulane. Alabama versus Mississippi State. This is a trap game. Not really a trap game, but a letdown potential. But I don't think Alabama's going to lose. Penn State versus Minnesota. Penn State's favored by 4.5. Minnesota needs a win here just to get back into the Big Ten West title race. But and Penn State got beat down last week pretty handily by Michigan. So they both do need a win here. Minnesota's defense is really good. And that's kind of concerning for Penn State here. But I'm going to lean Penn State, though. Slightly. Though I think it might be closer. It's going to be close like that point spread here says. 4.5. Now, TCU versus Kansas State. That's a rank versus rank matchup. TCU's coming off of an emotional win and double overtime against Oklahoma State. So this is definitely a letdown game. And Kansas State is no sleep. They're a sleeping giant. And it's the battle of the two teams that are 3-0 in the conference right now. I really do think TCU's defense is going to be the reason why TCU is going to lose this game. And yes, I'm going with the upset here. Letdown game potential, TCU defense, and the Kansas State offense is not. They beat Oklahoma at Oklahoma. And I know it doesn't mean anything now, but I think it's going to be up. Somebody's going to get upset at home, and then that team's going to. But you know, it's going to be interesting. This is an interesting game here. I mean, first, I'll give credit to TCU first of all on this game. They have a clear offensive edge. But defensively, I'm a little concerned. I mean, I really think Kansas State's going to slow them down enough and win the game. So, I'm picking an upset there. So, anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. And see you guys later. It's going to be 400 subscribers and more by the end of this year.